On today's show, Hyperloop One raises $85 million in its latest investment round, but needs a whole lot more cash. BMW promises wireless charging as a way of the future, and Jaguar says it's already got 25,000 people who want an iPace electric SUV. These stories and more coming up next. This is Ecotricity's ecoTEC Roundup show from New Zealand's only carbon zero certified renewable electricity company. We're 100% Kiwi and 49% community owned. Switch today at ecotricity.co.nz. Hi there, I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield, a professional musician turned electric vehicle crusader, and I'm here to bring Kiwis our weekly roundup of the biggest news stories around the world in relation to cleaner, greener transport. As always, thanks for joining me. For some time now, whenever an automaker announces its desire to bring a new vehicle to market, EV fans have replied with a call for that automaker to put their money where their corporate mouth is and follow Tesla in building gigafactories or more vehicle production lines. Well, this week we heard that Daimler is doing just that, announcing a $1 billion investment in its Alabama US production facilities just so that it can make its first Mercedes-Benz EQ-branded electric SUV there in significant volumes, and that includes the battery pack too. In response to the news, Tesla CEO Elon Musk tweeted that $1 billion wasn't really that much for a company of Daimler's size, suggesting that its investment was an order of magnitude off. Daimler then responded with a "you're right," hinting that the firm's investment in EVs is going to get larger and larger. Considering its arrival to Tesla, it just goes to remind us that Musk wants one thing: to get the world onto electric vehicles, regardless of it being a Tesla or not. I can't think of many company CEOs who think that way about the competition. Can you? Hyperloop One, the leader in the race to commercialise Musk's vision of mass transit for the future, has closed its latest funding round with a total of $85 million raised, taking its total investment to date to $245 million. The company, which has grand plans to build Hyperloop systems everywhere from Dubai to Colorado, has to date not really talked about how much it would cost to build its planned network of high-speed Hyperloop tubes through which special Hyperloop capsules will travel faster than the speed of sound, propelled by the wonders of electromagnetism. But this week, the Denver Post put a $24 billion price tag on a 360-mile proposed Hyperloop between Cheyenne, Wyoming and Denver, Colorado, several orders of magnitude more than Hyperloop One is actually worth. Will it happen? Well, I guess time will tell, but that's one very expensive construction project. Another project that's been very expensive to date is Faraday Future's planned $1 billion production facility north of Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you've been watching this show for any length of time, you'll know that Faraday Future's plans have been shrinking for some time, with the company tentatively putting its factory plans on ice earlier this year. Well, this week, we learned that Faraday Future has cut a check to the state of Nevada to repay in full any incentive money it had already taken under a deal inked back in late 2015. And while the company still owns the land in Las Vegas, it's looking less likely that we'll ever see a factory there. Will we see the FF91 in production? Yes, says Faraday Future, but I remain to be convinced. Eager to always push the boundaries of what its cars can do, Tesla is constantly tweaking the hardware and software of its cars, which is why when we heard a rumour late last week that it was working with AMD on a brand new artificial intelligence chip to power the autopilot system in its cars, the rumour certainly seemed plausible. But, says GlobalFoundries, a spin-off of AMD, those reports are false, and for now, Tesla isn't working with it or AMD on a new chip. Then again, later this week, we also heard another rumour that Tesla is about to switch from Nvidia to Intel as its chip provider for the large center console that dominates the cabin of every car. And while that move has supposedly already happened for Model 3, nobody is actually confirming or denying the rumour or the one before it, meaning that we really just have to go with what we know so far. If we get confirmation, I'll let you know. If you're a Brit, the chances are that you'll know about James Dyson, the British engineer responsible for the now legendary Dyson vacuum cleaners, as well as those hand dryers and fans that are super powerful. And while Dyson has less of a following elsewhere in the world, I'm sure viewers from outside the UK will be just as interested as Brits in the news that Dyson has confirmed it's working on an all-electric new car for launch in 2020. What's perhaps most important here? Well, not so long ago, Dyson acquired solid-state battery startup Skatey for $90 million, and since then it's been rumoured to make some progress on affordable, long-range, durable, solid-state batteries. Simply put, If Dyson can do for electric cars what it did for vacuum cleaners, we could be on the verge of something very big and very important. So don't dismiss the story just yet. Alongside Daimler's commitment from earlier this week to invest $1 billion in its Alabama production facility so that it could produce its EQ electric SUV there, Audi announced on Wednesday that it has plans to heavily invest in electric vehicles too, and it wants to build electric models at various factories around the world. The goal? To slowly switch production from internal combustion engine vehicles to electric ones as demand for EVs ramps up. How fast will it be? Well, in total, Audi says it will launch 20 new electrified models by 2025, including 12 all-new electric models and numerous plug-in hybrid models to boot. With Audi working just as hard as its parent company Volkswagen to rebrand itself following Dieselgate, it's going to be very interesting to see just how quickly this ramp-up in EV production actually happens. From electric now to big rigs, and while this story is about internal combustion big rigs, it still has a place on the show because it's about reducing fuel consumption using autonomous vehicle platooning technology. You see, this week, Daimler got the green light to test vehicle platooning on US roads, allowing groups of trucks fitted with platooning technology to virtually daisy-chain to one another in order to save fuel. And if that works, the overall emissions and fuel bill of mass freight by the road could go down, which I think is going to be good news for everyone. The electric car industry may still be arguing over which of the AC or DC charging standards are best for conductive charging of electric vehicles, but this week BMW pushed its marketing campaign for wireless charging up a gear, promoting optional wireless charging capabilities of the BMW 530e high-performance plug-in hybrid, with a very short infomercial on the subject. Promoting wireless charging as more convenient and enjoyable than plugging your car in, the ad is certainly targeting those who've never owned a plug-in car before. But then again, as the majority of BMW 530e high-performance customers will likely be experiencing a plug-in hybrid for the first time, I guess this makes sense. And if it gets more people running on electricity, hey, I'm all for it, even if it just is a little bit convoluted. Over the past few weeks, I've covered the Jaguar I-PACE electric car several times, from the car's actual promised launch into the race series that's been built specifically around the plug-in SUV. We won't see the I-PACE for another year or so, but this week, Jaguar's CEO confirmed that the firm has already more than 25,000 orders for its first ever plug-in car. Admittedly, as Green Car Reports notes, these are probably dealer rather than private orders, but it's a good start for the all-electric SUV. And finally, after 5 years of production, Tesla has finally ended production of rear-wheel drive only Model S's, shifting Model S production to all-wheel drive configuration moving forwards, as well as removing the previous entry-level Model S from the lineup and thus making a base Model S just a little more expensive. Tesla's switch means that those wanting a slightly larger frunk in their Model S or just rear-wheel drive will have to look at the used Model S market or at any of the cars still in inventory on Tesla's website. Still, it does make sense to end rear-wheel drive production since most customers did want all-wheel drive, and hopefully this will reduce complexity on Tesla's production line, save Tesla money, and reduce the price of the car for you. So don't be too frustrated, eh? And with that plea, it's time for me to bring another episode to a close. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, tell your friends about the show, and if you've got some feedback, be sure to send it my way. As always, I'll be back next week with more ecoTEC goodness, so make sure you hit that notification bell to find out the minute a new show is uploaded. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend, make sure you do something fun, and don't forget to help keep those wind turbines spinning by switching to New Zealand's only carbon zero certified renewable electricity company. Thanks for joining me. I'm Nikki Gordon-Bloomfield. Ka kite! See you next time.